but I don't want justice, Courtney. I want revenge.
Yes, Rick. I can feel your anger. Let the hate flow through you.
What's up, YouTubers of the world? Please excuse my darker half. He couldn't resist himself, especially after the episode of Stargirl that I just finished watching. So I hope y'all can understand why he needed to come out. But having now said that, don't worry, he's not going to be coming back. I got him under control now. But like I said, guys, I don't think you can blame my darker half for showing up. Not after with the episode we saw. That kid, Rick, can you not feel for this kid? I mean, you cannot blame him for having all that anger living up inside of him. And not to mention, he said it himself. He doesn't like it. All this anger inside of him just poisoned to him, and he just wants to let it out. And boy, did he finally get his chance. But then when he finally found out what really had happened to his parents, this shows that we got a very, very interesting character arc going forward for Rick during this first season here. From what we're seeing with him right now, he's an anti-hero, but we'll see how his journey progresses as the show continues, and see, does he progress more into a hero? Can Courtney and the others somehow make him let go of vengeance and learn to find justice instead? I don't know, but all I just know is I got goosebumps just wondering about his character arc. It's promising to be a really awesome arc. And must I say, this Cameron guy who plays as Rick, as Rick, he does an amazing job as him. I mean, the way he just shows off the anger and just the presence of him, he knows how to handle this character. If I didn't know any better, I'd say he's been in many roles where he's a very bad kid. If not bad, or better yet, bad's not the right word I use. He's been in roles where he had to be this character who has a lot of anger problems, or has been in a lot of roles that makes him show a lot of anger. Because if not, and if this is his first time, man, dude, you nailed it. And all I say is continue to do your job there. But now that I've said all that, guys, let's talk about him. Like, why is he so angry? Why does he have all this anger inside of him? Well, it turns out, first off, he's the son of the original Hour Man from the Justice Society. The only difference is, his father didn't die in the final battle that we saw in the first episode with the rest of the JSA. Instead, he was alive 9 years ago prior to the present timeline and was living in Blue Valley, and he learned of the Injustice Society of America being there. And unfortunately, though, knowing that they were on to him, he had to leave his son behind and leave him with his wife's brother. And unfortunately, that guy is nothing but just a jerk, an ass, whatever you want to say, because he didn't even bother to try to raise him. He pretty much even hinted to us when we were first introduced to him that he didn't want to raise him. And yeah, he kept true to that, because whenever he and Rick would interact in the present, all they would do looked like they just want about to pound each other and stuff. And even more so, since he didn't want to take care of him, he always just sells away all of Rick's stuff, because Rick wants to make the same car, has a car that's just like his father's, a 66 Mustang that's colored yellow, and he's been wanting to fix it and stuff, no doubt, so he could run away and stuff or something, because no doubt being in Blue Valley made him had all this anger, and he just wanted to go somewhere where he could let all that anger go away. And I don't blame the kid. I really don't blame him, because yes, all throughout his life, ever since being in the present time, he's always passing by the tree that supposedly killed his parents through an accident. But no, that wasn't the case. Instead, what it was is that when after his parents left him and made him go by a new name, Rick Harrison, Solomon Grundy showed up and murdered them. And must I add, Solomon Grundy, that quick image I saw of him and seeing him in that CGI for a minute, I gotta say, I love it. I really do. And I really can't wait for us to see more of him. Hopefully, though, we'll get even better, clear view of him but with this picture I have right now, this seems to be as good as it can get for what we are getting for right now, and it's really great. The way he looks, awesome, and I just can't wait to see more of it. But now that I've spoken of Rick and his anger problems, there's also the fact that Courtney eventually finds out about him when Rick's visiting him and her stepfather, Pat, when they're fixing his car. But during that time, Courtney realized that that hourglass was glowing to him. But come on, Courtney, what's wrong with you? You really think, first off, following the kid, for one, knowing that he knows you're following him, and then doing what you did, putting that hourglass right there in front of him like that? I'm just like, girl, have you lost your mind here? That was a weird move and not a very good cover up there, Courtney. You gotta do better than that, girl. And yeah, she's really showing that, yeah, still needs to work on her whole superhero thing, since for one, Pat's not training her, and since her father is dead, but not the father you're thinking of, now after finding out that nothing was happening after it glowed when she first met Rick, she ends up finding out that he actually really is he finds out that he is Our Man's son, all thanks to Beth Chapel. If you guys, I'm sure you guys know her because we've seen her all over ever since episode 1. She's that nerdy black girl who just likes to talk a lot. And I know some people say they don't like him and stuff. I've seen a lot of people on YouTube or in YouTube comments say they're not fans of hers. But me, I like her character. I really do. Because I can see that behind all that talking and everything, it's just a girl who's just trying to find people who will accept her for who she is. Because unfortunately and sadly, even her family is now trying to get away from her. They were around her when she was a kid, but since she doesn't have any friends at an age of teenager, and their parents are thinking she needs to start finding friends and finding her own group. And unfortunately, though, that's not the case, and it's also making it look like her own parents are rejecting her. So, while not exactly as tragic a story as the rest of these new members that Courtney are bringing along, this Beth girl really does have an insecure side and a more vulnerable side. And no doubt we're going to explore more about it as time goes on. Because the one thing you got to know about this episode, it was called Our Man and Dr.Mid-Nite. But this is more about Rick as Our Man than it is about Beth as Dr.Mid-Nite. But even still, though, I'm glad that even though we didn't get as much with Beth, we got to at least see how she's joining. She's not necessarily part of the group yet, but let's face it, she is very smart, way smarter than the rest of the members of the JSA, of this new JSA, and showing that she's someone you're going to want to have on the team, especially when she is the only one who activated Dr.Mid-Nite's goggles. And to find out it's actually an artificial intelligence and how it has all that information. Now, he says he doesn't know everything, but with how much he knows, he might as well know everything. So looking at anything that he sees and giving all the information out, along with the information he got when he had Beth wearing his goggles, and not to mention helping Rick with finding out the secret about the murder of his parents, which at first Rick didn't know, but luckily Beth knew. And at first, with Rick finally being confronted by Courtney later on in Cindy's party to show that that hourglass is his father's and it should work for him. When he put that on, the visual effects on that thing, I gotta say, that was really cool there. The visual glowing special effects that was showing, and then after having it, he gets to have super strength for a few hours. Yeah, and with all that hate inside of him, no surprise that he went down this road saying that with all this, he can let out all his anger, such as in the fact of destroying his uncle's truck, and then wanted to destroy that tree that he thought that killed his parents. Oh man, were Courtney and Yolanda and Beth about to have their hands full with him, because he didn't want to join at first. He saw this as a chance to just do whatever he wanted with it. He didn't care about secret identities or anything. And yeah, even after finding out through Beth and through the visual effects those night goggles were able to show us, which gotta say, during that moment when he was seeing it with his own eyes as that car was passing through him and him seeing his family's expression as they were dying, golly, that's gotta hurt. But as for Rick, him finding that out now makes him want vengeance. Which, guys, goes back to why my darker half showed up. Because like I said, guys, this kid, his journey of showing vengeance to transferring to hero will be very interesting. But now having said all that, though, we gotta talk about some other interesting things that we had here. Such as in the fact that for Beth, while she was following Courtney and Yolanda while they were looking around trying to recruit some people, who, by the way, we had a mention of one being Artemis Kroon, who Courtney was thinking about, but knowing her competitiveness, not gonna work. But I will like to see more of that girl, because with her being both a hero and a villain well known, I am interested to see what they'll do with her. And then when you go to Cindy's party, we find out that Henry is there, Brainwave's son, and it looks like he's starting to get some. It looks like he's starting to awaken his own psychic powers. And when he left the building, he heard Yolanda call him a jerk, not through her mouth, but through her mind. Right now, he doesn't know about it, and knowing his comic history, he's supposed to be a hero in the comics, but what will they do with him here? I am very interested to know. Will he be anti-hero? Will he start out villain, transfer to anti-hero, and then to hero? I really can't wait to see what they got with Brainwave Jr. for this one here. And then another person I forgot to mention over at the school is that janitor. If you guys have seen, I'm sure you guys have seen that janitor in a few episodes, but this is the first time he actually speaks, which gives us a hint to his character. Now, I would like to say it, but I want to let you guys stay in the mystery on that, because while I know who it is, some of y'all might know who it is, and I like it better if y'all try to figure that one out with it as time goes on, or if you guys can figure it out for yourselves. And I'm not being mean here or anything, I just think it'll be more fun that way. But either way, now that I heard him talk and the way he talks, I got a pretty good idea on who he is. And just a hint, he's somebody from that made an appearance and a few speaking roles in the Justice League Unlimited TV series. Animated series. Either way, having said all that, now we also gotta talk about the Injustice Society. Or better yet, almost forgot about Pat. Yes, need to talk about Pat, who has figured out about Rick when he first met him and went to his house to try to give him a part for his car. Seeing all that stuff made him figure out that, yeah, that kid is our man's son. And more proof came to him when he saw when the truck that Rick destroyed, his uncle's truck, was brought to him. He knew straight off the bat what caused it. So one can only wonder what he'll be telling Pat, because he knew our man, so no doubt Rick will probably ask him more about him and stuff. That'll be interesting, especially now that he knows what Courtney is up to. And yeah, it's no doubt gonna not be pretty, but let's face it, with the way things are and the way Courtney's being, Pat's just gonna have to realize that he can't stop her. The best he can do is just be her guide and help her out and protect her as best he can on that battlefield. But I'm starting to think with this next episode, maybe she might start to understand how it's a lot more dangerous than you seem, and that maybe she should have been persuading Pat more to help her. But that's just my thoughts on it. And now, if there's one more thing, oh yes, I almost forgot. The ISA, we finally are seeing them progress more with their Project of America plan here. First off, the principal we saw last week is known as the filler. But she's not the one that Pat knows. The one he knew was Mel. But what we did find out is, whatever it is that this Project of America is, the ISA needed a satellite, which, what's that? I forget what the guy's name is, but his villain name is Gambler. He got blueprints to the parts from a guy. He and the fiddler take two more people away. One who is able to be persuaded easily because, well, the fiddler's violin is somehow hypnotic spells, while the other guy, he wasn't he didn't fall for it so easily, showing he has a great strong will. And it's funny how ironic that after that, we cut to Pat finding the JSA's equipment in Courtney's room, where the Green Lantern's lantern was actually glowing. I think that was like a cameo tease to showing that eventually we're gonna get a Green Lantern here. But that is pretty much everything, guys. And guys, I gotta say, the episodes keep getting better and better and better. I mean, sure, I did say last week's episode I had a nitpicky spot there, but I still loved it, and I love this one too. Since this is all introduced into the recruitments of the new JSA, I love what we're getting here, and I can't wait to see more of it. Oh, just imagine what else are we going to get here. I'm psyched. But I'm going to go ahead, guys. Leave it all at that. And hey, if you're enjoying my videos, all you got to do is click that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to be notified when I make more videos. And until then, MegaGeekMixer signing out. Bye!